Let's get started with The Santa Claus. The popular 1994 classic starred Tim Allen, and as mentioned, he's back in a new series that explores what happens when Santa just can't be Santa forever. Our friend at NBC and MSNBC entertainment contributor Chris Witherspoon spoke with the cast about what we can expect.
I loved this series. Tim, I'm gonna get straight to it. The question everyone's asking is, what made you say yes to bringing back this character after 16 years?
This movie, regardless of its value, it comes on every Christmas and people love it. So I have to live this creature every year in my head, the Santa Claus. Love to. Then business affairs, I know them all really well. So would you think of doing one? And I said, okay. And it got really, really good. And then they put together a team. Some help with me, put together a team. And it just rolled into a very coherent script. It's magic and wonderful.
I'll have a Funicino. Put cocoa in it instead of coffee. Put a little peppermint in there if you have that. Chop up some cookies and sprinkles.
Name for the order?
Santa.
Sir, my job is hard enough.
Ho, ho, ho.
Elizabeth, now listen, you slayed as Mrs. Claus since 2002. So I have to know, what was your reaction when you were told they wanted to bring this character, this franchise to TV?
Really? Really? No, really? Nuh-uh, really? Really? Are you sure? Are you sure? I didn't believe it for months, even after we made the deal and I was waiting to do it. I kept calling my manager and being like, is this really happening? I think I had so much joy playing Carol, and I couldn't believe I was coming back to it after 16 years.
Wait a minute. Maybe your name isn't Carol, because sometimes I call you and you don't answer me.
Carol was my before name.
Is this going to become a thing?
No, you asking me to marry you, then gaining 200 pounds was a thing. This is much bigger.
I was really excited to see what she'd be like in her midlife. I thought it was really fun.
All right, Kal, I'm curious, were you a fan of the Santa Claus film franchise before joining the series?
Yeah, I was a fan of the franchise before. I think the first movie came out when I was in high school, so that got added to the Christmas movie rotation pretty early, and then was Tim Allen, obviously hilarious, so I've been a fan of his, and Elizabeth Mitchell. So the idea that I got to come on for these 6 chapters, the kid in me was very excited, but also the adult who loves Christmas movies was equally thrilled.
Amazing. And you mentioned getting to work alongside Tim Allen, being a big fan of his growing up. Is there a moment on set working with Tim that stands out? Something that was like a favorite moment that you had with him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Tim is so funny on screen, obviously, but even off, right? Like always improvising, always making people laugh. He's just so giving and funny and fun to be around when you're shooting scenes. I hope I get to work with him again.
Elizabeth, I have to give you a round of applause. I did not know until I read the notes that you were Tim Allen's real-life daughter. I didn't realize that. And you were phenomenal, by the way. I'm so curious, is there something new that you learned about your dad while being on set with him and working with him?
I feel like I forget sometimes about how much that he's done and how many people he's like impacted and touched. And when I was on set and I saw how people were so surprised and happy and overjoyed to see him in that Santa suit again, it like made me think about how much he's done, and how many people's lives that he's changed with this franchise.
Wow.
Duh.
Sandra, they warned you. This is what I look like here. It's Dad, me.
And Austin, was there anything that you observed from your on-screen daddy that kind of is going to like stick with you throughout your career as an actor?
Oh, so much. But just for one would be how it really did seem like second nature for him. Maybe it was just because he's been doing it for a while. But even with Elizabeth Mitchell, like those two, they had an aura about them. Like when they were on set in like the garments about like them being Mr. and Mrs. Claus, where the little extra kids that were like little elves, they would really think they were like Santa and Mrs. Claus, and just watching them kind of handle this role and like them knowing how to talk to these little kids was so awesome and sweet to see.
I'm curious, Elizabeth, having worked with Tim now for 20 years in this role, did you observe anything about how he tackled Santa this time around that might have been different from the other time?
I mean, he's such an improvisational actor. And I think that what I learned this time is what a loyal guy he is. Like he has the same people working for him that have been his entire career. I watched him, go in and out of this of this Santa and then fall right back into that gentle, knowing, magical creature. And I still kind of don't know how he does it. He arrives on set and I just want to throw my arms around him, which I do a lot. I feel like there's nothing written in the script about her kissing Santa, and I think I kiss him like 50 times.
I love that.
You know, I don't say this enough, but being Santa has meant the world to me. Once a year, I get to spread joy and magic to people everywhere. But I couldn't do it without all of you, especially you two, joy and magic.
And Tim, you know, your last TV series that I feel like the whole family came together to watch in a huge way was Home Improvement. My family was part of that tradition. I'm so curious, what are you most excited for people to see when they watch this TV series, The Santa Claus, as a family?
I wanted this to be available for children and families. It's family friendly. It's also got adult humor in it. Family is important. Giving is important. Being honest with yourself is important. And humor is important. And so we hit all those beats.
Look, we live in a polarized, cynical world. That's just the reality. And this is one of those wonderful Christmas movies that you can watch with anybody. And it's going to bring out hope and kindness and all of the good things that I think we love about Christmas and the holiday season. So watch it with people you love. It's also kid-friendly. I can finally show my nieces and nephews something that I've been in, which I'm looking forward to.
That's amazing.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.